Alright, what's up? This is Zeno. Welcome to my basement workshop project. I started this actually last night, just kind of clearing out all the stuff. There used to be a workbench located right in this area. You can see the marks on the floor from it. And took that apart. It probably was dang near original to the house. I inherited it with the house. And definitely wasn't the most ideal situation as far as a workbench was concerned. So we have two walls. This wall terminates here. We're gonna be doing some fun stuff with a new workbench. Obviously the sub pump, so we got that in the way. Old tool board that the previous owner had up there. So this is where the chimney comes down through the house. And then all I'm doing here, there's this little about 4-foot span right here. So all I'm doing is basically boxing this in. I'm going to be putting shelves all enclosed in there all the way over to the exterior wall. So today what I'm going to be doing is starting this project over here. I'm going to be putting up 2x4 strapping on the wall. I know strapping is not really something that is the most ideal situation, but given the space that I have in this basement that I have to play with, and given what I want to do to the wall as far as treatment wise, strapping is really my best option. Alrighty, we got all of our strapping up against the walls. Again, we only came out 8 feet, so we have a couple straps up against this wall. Again, just 2x4s, adhesive, construction adhesive, and a couple screws in each 2x4 laying flat against the wall. These are not like 16 inches on center. I really didn't even, I mean, I kind of roughly made sure that they were straight, but I'm not worrying too much about the spacing in between them, not worrying too much about whether or not they're exactly straight up and down. This is all going to be solid wood paneling over this, tongue and groove paneling eventually. Again, these are just walls, just kind of covering this up for the workspace area. So, you know, they're not going to be carrying any major load, so I'm not worrying too much about my spacing. It'll be enough to get the paneling up and secured, so that's really all I'm worrying about. Again, on the floor here, bottom plate here, just construction adhesive. Construction adhesive against the wall. There is 1 or 2 screws holding this wall anchoring it into the existing wall. Construction adhesive on top on the side beam. Did the same thing over here. This I did yesterday. Again, I explained this before. This is just an area where we'll be doing some shelves. This is just construction adhesive holding this 2x4 to this wall. I could anchor this in with screws, but I decided not to. Construction adhesive is really all you need. You can try to move this. It's not going to move. This is solid against that wall, and that adhesive is going to hold it. Again, also the bottom plate here, just construction adhesive, nothing more, solid against the floor. It's not going anywhere. The main reason why I'm using construction adhesive and I'm not sinking screws or using a nail gun to pin those down is because this concrete slab has radiant floor heating, which means, and this is an older house, this is not a brand new house, and so that means there are water pipes that are laid in the floor that carry hot water around the basement pad, all throughout the basement, and heats this basement through the floor. I am not 100% sure where these pipes are. I know roughly where they are, I know how many there are, but I don't know exactly in this area where the pipe goes through. And the last thing I want to do is run the risk of sinking a screw or setting a nail gun and pinning this thing to the floor and hitting one of those pipes. That would be a catastrophic and highly expensive mistake to make, and it is not even something for a project this size. It's not even something I'm even going to risk. So just construction adhesive to the floor. It'll hold everything fine. If this was some major renovation of the basement that I was doing, finishing project, I would probably get a thermal imaging camera, turn on the heat, mark out where the pipes are so I know exactly where they are, go ahead and pin my walls down. But for this small of a project, not going to do it. So again, use the strapping to try to keep the space as much as I can. I don't want to bump out too much and take up too much of my own space here. So we're using strapping. These two walls, I should say, this is an older home, never been any water infiltration into this basement. It's always been dry. That's where we are right now. The paneling is acclimatizing right now. Obviously you want to let paneling sit in your house for about a day or so before you put it up. so you don't run the risk of it shrinking and cracking and splitting once you get it on the walls. So I'm going to move on to building the workbenches right now. Alrighty, I just finished making the frame for the first bench. It's a very simple workbench, as you can see. All conventional lumber. In fact, the front and the back, I didn't even cut to length. These are just stock lengths. I believe the stock length is 92.5, if I am not mistaken. So I bought 2x6s and 2x4s in that length. So the 2x4s on the bottom and the 2x6 on top, didn't even cut those to length, just threw them right on there, screwed them all together. I will be putting a couple of carriage bolts in this thing just to make it a little bit more stable, but for just getting everything together, just doing some basic wood screws. I'm going to be putting a shelf down on the bottom, and then the top here. These legs are cut to 36 inches tall, therefore with my top I'm at a good counter height, workbench height. This is going to be the larger of the two. This is approximately 30 inches deep as it sits right now, and then there will be about a 2-inch overhang because my final countertop is going to be 32 inches from the wall, so there's going to be about a 2-inch overhang over the edge. My rough length is whatever it is, 92.5 plus a couple of 2x6s, one on each end. That's my final length. The inside, the 2x4 is nailed to the inside, so I can just cut a rectangular piece of plywood and literally just slide it right in and then screw it down, and I have my shelf, easy as pie, and then just put my top on, again, easy as pie. Very, very simple. Again, only using 2x4s and 2x6s. If you're in the market to building yourself a workbench, this is a really sturdy, strong, quick, easy, inexpensive workbench to build. Put the piece of plywood down as my shelf. Again, just slid right in there. That's the nice thing about constructing the bench this way. You can just cut it all one width, leave it all just the stock length. And I did shave a little bit off the end just so it didn't hang over the edge too much, and just screw it right down. It just slides right in, and you know, nice and easy.